Hey everybody, this is Ross BD, and I'm going to be doing a Let's Play of a game called Meritous. Yes, it is a PC exclusive game unless you do some insane thing that I really can't understand, but I have it for Mac because I have this program called Crossover 8. Yeah. So anyway, this is a game that's basically, imagine a top-down, Metroidvania. It's basically a 3,000 room dungeon crawler, randomly generated. It's insane. Okay, let's get started. Why is it low? Alright. And the music just kicks ass in this first part here. Oh man. Alright. Okay, so a couple of rules before we start. I will not be gaining any of the power-ups in the chest for a long time. You'll understand why. I'll explain why later. I also will not be, I will not be using any of my lives until, like, the final boss. If I die, I restart from my last save point, and you'll understand why later, too. Now, basically, there are 3,000 rooms to explore. This room is the only room where you're safe. Any other room, enemies can go in from other rooms. Now, enemies will... This is quite possible. Anyone who has heard of the bullet hell genre will know that, well, this is just insane. Just, like, the bullets just get crazy. Your only defense against them is this. A psychic blast. Yes, it's something called a PSI circuit. Now, you can see up in the top right corner, up in the top there's, the reflect shield, circuit charge, and circuit refill. Those are your stats. You power them up by getting PSI crystals, which you get from defeating enemies. This lets you save. This lets you, this is a checkpoint. Quick note. Saving, you do not start from your last save point, you start from your last checkpoint. If you save, like, everything that happened will still have happened, but you won't be there. You'll be at your last checkpoint. Bit of an odd thing about this game worth mention. This is, how you power up your shield. This is how you power up your circuit charge. This is how you power up your circuit refill. And I will go over what those things are as... One second. Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, my brother, my jackass brother got a little bit doorbell crazy. Yeah. So, anyway, as I was, where was I? Right. This is the crystal device. It basically, any crystal that's like, crystals, are what enemies drop when you defeat them. They don't disappear. And if you press one of these, if you press enter at one of these things, all the crystals that have been, that are, like, scattered around the map will collect in the room that it's in, which is really useful. Now, let's go into our first room. And we've just met our first enemies. Alright then, so, yeah, that's, basically, the enemy bio I'm gonna be using for this game. Yeah. Yeah, these guys are really not that tough, but as I said, you don't have a shield right now, which means that if you get hit at all, you take damage and lose one of your 3 hearts. If you lose all your hearts, you lose one of your lives. If you lose one of your lives, you return to your last checkpoint, and you lose half of the PSI crystals you have. And there are a limited number of enemies in this game, actually, so you do not want to lose PSI crystals, because there's a limited amount you can gain. PSI crystals are what you use to upgrade your stats, so yeah. Dying isn't a good thing. It's... it's really something you want to avoid. So what I'm going to do is, since I know enemies are in this room, this is one of the only times in the game where you're ever going to want to have your PSI circuit fully charged, because notice how it see, after you charge it, it has to uncharge. Basically, the higher you charge it, the longer it takes to like cool down. I just got 5 PSI crystals from that. I was hoping I would get a bit more. Okay, there are enemies in there too, and see, they followed me. Ah yes, now, let me explain how it works. See those crosshairs, those like reticle things that appeared? The circle means that it's in range. The X thing means that you've charged it up strong enough to kill it. This is kind of like some card games in that you have to do full damage. It's either all or nothing. Either you kill them in one hit or you don't do any damage to them at all. Alright, so 23. Alright. It also destroys all your psychic attack also destroys all projectiles. Now, as you can see, reflect shield up in the top is lit up, which means I can upgrade it. And now I have a psychic shield. Now, this psychic shield will reflect one attack, one missile, before having to recharge. This is a good thing. You want this. Alright, now. Power-ups get more and more expensive as the game goes on. Like, the higher levels you get. So, the reason I'm not getting any of the power-ups and chests is because they upgrade your stats for free. Now, it's a real waste to use something like that early in the game when the power-up's relatively cheap. Eventually, you'll need, like, to get, like, on the order of... Oh! New enemy! A couple of new enemies, I guess I forgot. Alright, bios. 1 second. Alright then, yeah. So, now as you can see, I can, recharge my, I can power up my reflect shield or my circuit charge. I'm gonna do my reflect shield, because you really wanna, power them up equally, and as you can see, the reflect shield starts out way lower than circuit charge and circuit refill, so you're gonna want them equal to, like, even out the costs. Now, health is very hard to come by. Wow. That was the worst timing ever. Alright, this is a health thing. This heart here, this is a heart PSI crystal. If you touch it when you have damage, you basically restore one of your 3 hearts. However, if you get it when you're at full health, it charges up that little meter in between your life count and your heart count. And what that means is that it brings you, it basically racks up points to give you an extra life. And you're gonna want that later, because the final boss, at least if you go for 100% completion, is really tricky. Alright, now. Okay, no loose crystals. Alright, now, you'll notice these tiles here. Now, there are various types of tiles. One I didn't mention because it's not in here. Basically, the tiles are randomly scattered throughout the other rooms. This is the only room that has guaranteed tiles like this. There's one that isn't in this room. It's the compass tile. Basically, it points you to the next place of interest for you. That was close. Yeah, when you kill some enemies, their bullets that are on screen turn into crystals. Okay, now, when you're surrounded by a huge mass of enemies... Yeah. Now, you'll notice you can't see, you can only see enemies in the room you're in. Now, normally, in, uh, you'll, find a, something called the ethereal monocle, which allows you to see enemies in other rooms as question marks. It also lets you see invisible enemies. But I'm not getting that, because I think it'll make the playthrough a bit more exciting if I, because there's this one enemy in the game that just, like, I, I'm absolutely terrified of it. It's just, like, it's quite possibly one of the most dangerous enemies in any game ever made. You'll know when we found it. Alright, I think that's about it for this episode of, Let's Play Meritous. I'll, upload the next episode shortly.